Yesterday was like one of the hottest days. Typical British summer, and there's no AC here. Hershey's chocolate, if you eat it, it kind of reminds you of vomit. I was introduced to a completely new music genre where you're just doing
Oh my goodness. I think I'd get a heart attack.
it's insane. It was so traumatic that I can barely even remember that time. I panicked.
What is the dream?
The dream.
Yeah.
Oh, I have so many dreams, Max. So just imagine the camera pans onto the front door. You see Harry Styles opening the door, and he's like, "Hi, Architectural Digest, welcome to my home." And he just walks you through his house, and he's like, "Now this sofa is picked out by the incredible interior designer, Amy Yu."
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 5th episode of Sippin Soju podcast. I'm here with a very special guest, my great friend from back home, Amy Yu. Say hi to everyone, Amy.
Hey guys, what's up?
Doing well.
Do I need to say anything else right now?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I'm just pouring me a seltzer right now. You get the ASMR.
I have jasmine tea and water. I'm ready to go.
Very healthy. I love
All the
jasmine tea.
hydrants. Yeah, I've run out of honey, so I've had to make do with some maple syrup, and
How does that work?
it kind of works, but it's not my favorite.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I started
Max,
using honey. What's up?
Oh, sorry. I think we should talk about our origin story.
Yeah.
Do
Origins.
you remember it?
About how it all started
Yeah.
between us two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it goes way back when to a period of time when I was like 2 feet tall.
Yeah.
Back when
Buzz cut.
yeah. Actually, speaking of which, I just got a haircut and looks kind of buzzy right now, but hopefully it'll grow out very soon.
I think that's good.
But thank you. Basically, we were playing soccer for the same team, and your dad was actually the coach, and through that time period, we just kicked a ball and we had a lot of fun doing it, I feel like.
Yeah. That's basically it. We were like 3 or 4?
Yeah, we were really tiny back then.
I don't think we reconvened until 5th grade. So we were 11 at that time. And I just remember you came to class every day and you smelled like sunscreen. And then I bullied you on accident, kind of, on Gaggle, got blocked from Gaggle. And then I transferred schools.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how and now you're no longer in the US, right?
Yeah, I'm gone. Bye, bitch.
Yeah, like I guess could you tell everyone a little more about where you are currently?
I'm in Brighton, England, on the coast. It's a cute little town. Currently in my master's program, studying architecture and urban design. And yeah, I love it over here. Though winters are brutal, but the summers make it worth it because we have the longest days. The weather is
Gotcha.
cold though. Like yesterday was like one of the hottest days. It was like 80 degrees. I live on the 4th floor and there's no AC here. So I was just constantly sweating all day. It was misery. But we're fine now. It rained. There was a thunderstorm, so it's cool again. We're back in the 60s. Typical British summer. And I'm really pale. No tan.
The combination of all of those factors together, it makes me maybe not want to live in England. At least during winter time.
My seasonal depression hit hard this year, out of any winter.
Is that because the winter was really long or just other factors as well?
It was mainly that. So the day started, the sunrise was at like 8:39, and then the sun went down at 4:30, 5.
Oh my goodness.
My classes wouldn't end sometimes until like 3. So I'd have a day, like an hour worth of sunlight, and I just wouldn't be motivated to do any work because I just wanted to go to bed. Circadian rhythm out the window, just constantly exhausted. I didn't go home for Christmas. I haven't seen any of my family since September of 21. So it's been a rough one. It's been a rough
Yeah,
one.
because of the pandemic as well, I feel like it's super hard to not only commute between different countries, but I guess luckily we have FaceTime and stuff like that. Hopefully that's been a
Yeah.
little more helpful,
I'm really bad at keeping in touch with people, obviously, since this is the first time I've spoke to you since I
Since
think I
what?
texted you on your birthday.
Yeah, yeah. But
That was
like
in November.
speaking in person, it's been probably at least 3 or 4 years, wouldn't you say?
3 or 4 years.
At least like
No,
over
we
over teams and stuff like that. Like I know we've visited in person since we've been back home and stuff.
yeah. I haven't FaceTime you in a really long. I was about to say what? I was like, did you not remember all the times we like played soccer or
Yeah,
played
yeah, yeah.
tennis?
No,
Yeah.
no, no. Not those in person back home ones, but honestly, the last year feels like it's been so long, and I'm really curious to dive more into, first of all, like how you've adjusted to living in the UK.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess like could we start with what new foods have you tried? And um in terms of like diet, how does that work? Because the
Okay.
food's different, right?
The food is kind of the same. I feel like the only difference is there's like different meals more so. Like the combination of food. So one of the first things that I was introduced to is a Sunday roast. And those are big, and like Sunday roast are so good. Since UK is like a huge drinking city or a huge drinking country, sorry. Let me get it right.
Close enough.
Um Basically they drink starting from 5 p.m. onwards every single day of the week, go particularly hard on Fridays and Saturdays, and then Sundays is when you need a Sunday roast to soak up all of the alcohol. It consists of Yorkshire puddings, which are basically like these things of bread about this big. You have pigs in blanket, roasted chicken, roasted parsnips and carrots, roasted potatoes. uh you're gonna have to pull up a picture and like pop it on the screen. I can
I
send
was
you one.
just thinking about that. I was gonna
Yeah,
plop like a Yorkshire pip pudding or whatever
yeah. I
on the
can I
screen
can
there.
literally send you a picture of one of my plates from when we do Sunday roast, but it
Yeah,
is called
yeah.
a roast because everything's done in the oven. So
Okay.
that was something that was new. Also, their chocolate here is so good. It's way
Yeah.
better than the States. Like Hershey's chocolate and that whole like, is it a franchise of if you eat it, it kind of reminds you of vomit, like the acidity in it. It's a
Okay.
bit vomity, and apparently it's been known that Hershey's chocolate has the same like chemical or something as sick. I've been told, but the chocolate here doesn't give you that same sickly acidic feeling.
Gotcha.
It's not as
I
sweet.
coming from someone who doesn't really eat chocolate that often,
Mm.
and having grown up on Hershey's, I think I've just
It-
been like acclimated to it,
yeah.
and like I don't notice it, but I'm sure once I try like a finer type of chocolate,
Oh
it'll
yeah.
just kick in. I'll be like, oh, what is this that I've been eating?
One of the chocolate brands here is called Cadbury, and it's good.
I've heard of Cadbury. I haven't had it though, I don't think. Yeah,
It's one of the bigger brands here, and I think they do like dairy milk. I don't know,
that's
but the
exciting.
chocolate's different. I think the other meal that I was introduced to here was toad in the hole, which is a Yorkshire pudding base dish, and then you just shove sausages in it, and it's baked in the oven. Um, yeah, the foods here like very carby, very meaty.
Okay.
I
Love
think it's
that.
very
Actually,
good.
no wonder that's like the Sunday pick me up from the long from the long tough week. Yeah.
You have your classic fish and chips. I've had it once, I think, since I've been here.
Okay. And I guess in terms of just like going out socially, it sounds like there's a lot to do. Was that the case from your experience?
Uh, yeah, I mean, clubbing here and nightlife is huge.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm not like the biggest clubber. I'm more of a grandma at heart. I'd rather watch Netflix and knit. So maybe I'm not supposed to be in the UK.
Yeah.
But I have gone out to two clubs here in Brighton. One of them, I was introduced to a completely new music genre. and it's called DNB. Have you heard of DNB before?
No, could you break it down to me?
So DNB stands for drum and bass, and it's in the like EDM aspect, but it's less like techno and more like bassy and drummy. Um, hence why it's called drum and bass. But I don't know. Like the first time I heard it, I was like, what the fuck is this music? Like, this is one of the worst things I've ever heard. And
Other
then
lyrics?
there are lyrics. Like I can send you some songs to listen to. The first song that I was introduced to, oh, I just hit the microphone. I'll look at my Spotify right now, but
Yeah.
it's called Take Me Higher by AC13. That was one of the ones. This song called Proud feat Tiffany Malvo. That one's a good one. A song called Black Cloud. Take notes. You should listen to these. Black Cloud by Royalston in Victoria. And yeah, that's about. Oh, and then a song that's popping right now is Everybody Loves the Sunshine. It's like an old song, but it's a remix by Netsky, Daddy Waku, and Chantal Kashala. I probably butchered all of those names.
Gotcha.
But that's just like a huge music genre. Like you'll just hear everyone blasting it from their cars, walking on the street. You'll go to the park, you'll hear it. Go to the beach, you'll hear it. They have multiple DnB clubs and venues all around the beachfront. I went to one and I feel like it wasn't the best introduction experience, but I did it from one of my friend's birthdays. And it was a DnB donk night. And I don't even know how to begin to explain what donk DnB is. It sounds and feels like 2D Super Mario Brothers, like hype music, where you're just doing.
Oh my goodness, my heart. I think I'd get a heart attack.
Yeah, but I somehow lasted from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. Don't ask me how. And I did not take any drugs. I only drank alcohol. So everyone was amazed that I
That's
did that
insane.
without any extra substance.
Yeah. That's
And,
my
yeah.
goodness.
So I think that's a pretty decent intro to UK culture. There's definitely more, but I'm sure that will come up throughout our chat.
Yeah. I'll probably just steal your Spotify playlist. I'm sure you have one about DnB or something like that.
I do. It's called
take a look.
It's called Beats.
Beats.
Under my
Okay.
profile. Yeah. There's a mix of like DnB and some other more hype music that I listen to when I work out sometimes.
If you want everyone else who watches this to be able to experience that, I'd be happy to link your Spotify too.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do that. I'll
share it with the people.
Do I have to say like my name on it? It's
no, like I mean, well, this is all like after the podcast is done. I'll just link it down in the description. Yeah, so
link it down in the description box below. Make sure to check it out. Like and subscribe.
Wait, can you say like and subscribe again?
Like and subscribe.
Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna cut that out and I'm gonna use that as one of the intro clips. Perfect. Thank you for the unpaid plug there, right there, Amy.
Of course. I mean, I can do a whole closing thing for you. Like, I used to be a YouTuber, so
we will get to that.
Sippin Soju. Oh yeah.
We will get to that.
Let's keep going then.
That's money. So yeah, I guess like one question that I had for you, and this is something that I've always wondered. I don't think we really got the time to talk about, but it's
okay.
After undergrad, you did your undergrad at SCAD, and after undergrad, you decided to do your master's program in the UK. I'm curious, like, what made you decide to pursue that program? Because I know you've always been interested in like architecture and design.
Yeah.
Like, what was the reason why you ultimately decided to do it rather than just pursue something else?
Do you want to know my driving motive?
Yeah, I mean, sure, like everything. Like this is unfiltered, so.
Right. Okay. So, to break it down to you, we were in senior year at SCAD. I was finishing up my interior design degree. Pre-COVID 2019, we didn't know what was going to happen. And I was like, oh my God, I have to enter the adult world in just a few months and I'm panicking. And the summer before my senior year, That's when I took the internship in London for 3 months. I just fell in love with everything about the UK. And I was like, how do I get back over there? And I knew if I tried to start a job in the US without doing any type of buffer in the UK, there's just no way I was going to make it over here. So I applied to master's degree mainly because I was scared to enter the adult world. That's the number one driving factor. The second driving factor was I didn't want to work in the States. And I thought a master's program would be a good stepping stone. Um, and I would preferably wanted to get a master's in architecture, but with getting a master's in architecture, you have to have your bachelor's in architecture too. And
Gotcha.
the whole master's thing is you have to have like a REBA 1 and 2, some type of exam. So I just didn't meet the qualifications. So the closest thing to architecture was architecture and urban design, and it's more urban development based. Um, yeah, so I panicked, and then I was like, "Masters, let's
Yeah.
go!" And here I am.
I think well, I think from my perspective and seeing like what you've done there so far,
Mm.
I feel like that was a very good move for you. Do you feel like that's the same?
Hindsight's 2020, baby. So like
Yeah.
parts of me, I think, I mean, everything happens for a reason. You're going to be doing things that you don't know why. What's the purpose in the long run? Um, but I don't fully enjoy my master's program. And it took me a second to figure that out. Um, we have 3 semesters here. The first semester, I was absolutely blowing it. Like, it's such a huge switch from interior design into urban development because, like, interior design is super niche. Like, you're getting to work really closely with intricate details. You usually have like a concept driver. You have kind of like a base exterior building, so like you're just working within like these parameters and coming up with rooms and functions and like how you're going to navigate a certain space. Whereas like urban development, urban design is, you have to take the entire history of a city and implicate like those ideas into your new design. And how is it relevant? Like, how is it sustainable? Like, what are you going to be using? Like bike lanes? How many pedestrian lanes are there? How many buildings are doing this, and that? And it's just, there's so much to factor. But I was trying to figure out like why I wasn't motivated first semester. And I was like, it's because this is not what I'm used to. And it's not really, I really don't like it. Like, I just really like the intricacies of working closely with a client and having like a really insane concept to put into a smaller space.
Yeah.
If,
No, that makes complete sense. And
mm,
definitely, I still feel like even though this isn't something that you're necessarily passionate about, I feel
yeah,
like the opportunity, like you definitely learned a lot, right? And you probably learned
yeah.
how much like more you're able to push yourself than previously because this is something so outside of your comfort zone, right?
Oh, 100%. Like, I think the closest thing that I had to an urban design project was actually after I graduated from SCAD. One of my professors asked me to do like a veranda outdoor competition as a alumni with a bunch of undergrads, and we just developed like a Savannah square. Like, Savannah, Georgia has these historical squares, and
Mhm.
our whole pitch was, how do we bring this to present day and make it more useful, and it's not like this rundown historic crumbly space. So that was my first experience as like urban designer. But here it's just a lot more in depth. But yeah, there's definitely good things to take away from it. I've definitely pushed myself a lot more, especially like second semester. The grading system here is insane. Like, it
Tell me
doesn't
about
make
it. I have
sense
no
to me
idea.
at all. Like, right, so there's different percentages that line up to like an American US standard, like ABC.
Okay.
So an A here is anything from like a 70 to an 80%. A B here is below a 70 to a 60. And then a
Okay.
C is like a 60 below. And you have to get above 40% to pass. So most of my flatmates right now, they're an undergrad. All they have to do is get 40% or higher, because first year for them is pass or fail. For our course, since we're a graduate program, you
It's
have to
letters.
no, it's like still percentages. So I got 268s, like 68, 69 for my first semester. Or no, I got 368s. And I remember just checking the blackboard. I was like, I've never gotten a 68 in my life. I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I'm failing. I was like, why is this so hard? And then everyone was like, no, Amy, like, don't stress. This is basically like an A minus B plus. I mean, come on, we're Asian. We don't do B's. So I
Yeah.
was freaking out. So this past semester, I like really pushed myself and like put my head down and focused on work. And I've gotten those like 70 pluses this semester. So I'm in the distinction category now.
Let's go. Pop off.
But
It's
yeah, the
awesome.
rating system is wild. I don't like it.
They didn't have that in the itinerary. I feel like that's something they should have told you.
I I don't know. Like maybe I just didn't pay attention, but I don't
Fair
remember
enough.
seeing a 40 plus a pass and like a 68 and a 70 a B plus like A.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But
I'm glad academically like you're crushing it, and it sounds like yeah, it sounds like you've kind of gotten like more used to not only the like academic routine that like your master's
mm,
program entails, but also sounds like you're navigating just overall life in the UK like a
oh
lot
yeah.
better, right?
Yeah, a lot better second semester. First semester, I was living like an undergrad first year, and I was like, what am I doing? I had a reality check. Um, but we're back to the grind now.
Are you currently like in an apartment that's connected to the university, or how does that work?
Okay, yeah. So I live in Halls. This is a new build. It just opened this year. And I live with 7 other people on one side of the flat. So we're flat. I keep just giving out my information. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah.
So I live with 7 people on one side, and on the opposite of us, there's 8 more people. So
Okay.
it's, and then there's like 4 or 5 floors. So it's a huge like student and uni accommodation. But the rooms are tiny. If I shifted my camera that way, you'd see a wall. If I shifted my camera this way, you'd see a wall. Um, but it's nice though. I like being connected to a bunch of students.
Yeah, the overall interior, from what I can see, like it's really white and clean, and yeah, it looks nice. I don't know if
Yeah,
you played a role in constructing that, or if that was kind of how it
that's
was
all them.
initially. Yeah, I
All
mean,
them.
hey, they did well. Give them a little bit of credit there.
I mean, it's a new build though, so like everything's getting a bit crumbly. They were actually still building these buildings when we moved in, and every morning from 7 a.m. onward, you would just hear a one of those drills assume
Oh
like
my goodness.
even on the weekends. It was so traumatic that I can barely even remember that time of my
You
life.
just blocked it out completely, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
100% was so bad.
That's well, I'm so glad that that's like no longer the case, right?
Oh, me
That's
too. Me too. There's still construction noises, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was like October through January.
if that was such a problem, I feel like I would have even complained to the landlord, honestly, or whoever like owned the apartment and been like, give me like a discount because like literally no sleep is happening here
Right.
from
No,
the
that
jackhammers.
there's a lot of students trying to like get refunds because no one was told that we were going to have construction for 4 months every day at like starting at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
But alas, we're here.
So in terms of the overall program, how did you discover the program that you're a part of, and like what was the application process like? Because I've never
Hmm.
applied to a master's, and especially not in the UK. So can you break it down
Yeah.
for us?
Um, how did I discover the program? So firstly, I had to influence my parents, and the way to influence them is infographics, Excel spreadsheets, show that I've done my work. Um, Brighton was definitely like, it was the only place that I applied to, but it wasn't really my first choice. So I looked at like Manchester, I looked at like London City, other big colleges or unis in London. I looked University of like Edinburgh, so Scotland, um, Oxford, but none of them like there's something about it, just didn't feel right. Like I follow like my heart and I trust my gut on a lot of things. And I knew that going to uni in London would be really difficult just because there's just so much to do. And like the tube rides are probably going to be exhausting, just constantly convoluted with people all the time just because it's the big city.
Yeah.
And when I was here in 2019, me and my parents visited Brighton once. And I don't know, like something about it reminds me of Savannah. So it's kind of a home away from home. And that's actually the school slogan.
For
Brighton,
Brighton.
home away from home.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness. How much are they paying you to say that?
They're not paying me at all. Unfortunately, I wish they were paying me.
Brighton, give this lady
Yeah.
give this lady a sponsorship,
Give
honestly.
me a fucking scholarship, please. Take like 2 months rent off.
For the jackhammering, honestly, I think
I know.
that's not a far-fetched thing to get, but
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
you should definitely like petition with the other students. I would totally hop on that. That's not okay.
My
But,
tenancy runs up in September, so I still have some time to put up a fight potentially.
yeah.
I'll think about it. But yeah, that's how I just kind of narrowed it down. Brighton was one of the cheaper ones. Transportation's cheaper. Although the expense of living is very similar to London prices. Um, but yeah, it's also by the sea. You have more woodsy areas, like a huge forest north. If you go south, you have to see the beachfront and all of that. The application process was pretty simple. I just hopped on the website, filled out one of the forms, wrote a statement of intent. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And sent it in. And then I literally heard about 2 weeks later that I was accepted. But I actually applied in January of 2020. And I was supposed to start September 2020. COVID happened. I deferred a year. So that's how I'm here a bit later. But that 1 year off did me a lot of good. So I'm happy about that.
No, that's really nice you were able to defer it. And it was really just one application. Like you just filled out one application, just sent it in,
Yep.
and then they just let you know. That's
Yep.
nice.
That's
Easy
exactly what I did.
breezy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did for undergrad too. I only applied to, I put all of my eggs in one basket. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Well, that also comes with confidence, knowing that, that's the one, and, that's where I'm going to
Yeah.
go. So there you go.
My thing is like, if I don't get accepted, I'm just not supposed to go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean,
That's either
honestly,
smart or not. I don't know.
well, knowing you, I feel like you definitely put in the effort to make yourself like the best possible candidate for it. It's not like you're blindly applying and then like you're not doing any of the work beforehand. So I think it works for you because you actually put time and effort into, crafting up an application that's like very competitive for that.
Yeah, the other thing that really influenced my parents to let me come here is if I did do the same degree at a different university in the States, it would be like 60K a year. I'd have to be there for 3 years. And that's just too much. Whereas the master's program here, 1 year full time, so like 11, 12 months, tuition's way cheaper. And application for any master's program in the UK is free.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
really nice as well. Cause I know those can rack up in the US.
Oh yeah. So at first the application is completely free. And then of course you have to do like your deposit and stuff like after you accept.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Going forward after your master's program, like what is the next step or goal for you? You said you wanted to do like
Yeah.
architectural design in the UK, right?
Yeah. So since I didn't really, and since I'm not really enjoying the whole like urban design aspect of it, I'm looking for a job in interiors. But I've learned a lot about sustainability, which has been really interesting. Because I didn't know before coming here that sustainability like runs deeper than just how to be kinder to the planet. It comes down to more of like an equality standpoint, like women in the work fields, um, ideas of like the third space, how to, what's the word, like um basically just like equal rights in working and globally. And I didn't know that was a part of sustainability. So that's cool. Where was I going with that?
Oh, in terms of the next step for you, like,
Oh, the
yeah,
next
for
step.
interior design. Yeah. So like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
like, what is the dream?
The dream.
Yeah.
Oh, I have so many dreams, Max. But I I would really, really, really like to work at a small firm doing like luxury residential design, just because there's kind of a lot more job security in that, because everyone's wanting their homes to be redone and you get to work really closely with a client. Unfortunately, being an international student in the UK, that's a bit unrealistic just because I have to basically be granted a visa by these other companies, and it's really difficult to get a work visa.
It's
Or
expensive,
I
right? As
It's
well.
so expensive. Like I think it's like £2,000 for a company to sponsor you, or maybe like 7,000.
Oh
It's
my
expensive.
goodness. Yeah.
I could get a graduate extension visa, and that would last me 2 years. But moving past that, my dream would be, yeah, to work in luxury residential. But it looks like I'm probably going to be working with a larger firm. I've applied to so many places and I just haven't heard back yet. So pray for me that I get a
Yeah, no.
response soon.
Hey, everyone who's watching this podcast, please take a moment of your time,
Please.
comment down in the chat, and throw up that prayer emoji real quick.
Please, man. Like it is, I have, when you've just sent out so many job applications that, and you just don't hear back, you're like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Like, what's wrong
Yeah.
with me? I have lost such a sense of confidence and my ego has been depleted, questioning my life. But yeah, it's been all right. I was actually telling one of my friends last night the dream, and this is gonna be really cheesy. I'm like a hardcore Harry Styles fan, and I know that's like the most basic thing to say as like a half white woman. um, but my dream is, I'm not even really in this picture, but it would be an Architectural Digest interview. It's like the celebrities like, welcome to my home, and they like walk them through their
Yeah, I
entire
love
space.
watching
Have you
those.
seen
Yeah,
those?
they're so soothing.
So just imagine the camera pans onto the front door. You see Harry Styles opening the door, and he's like, hi, Architectural Digest, welcome to my home. And he just walks you through his house. And he's like, now this sofa is picked out by the incredible interior designer, Amy Yu. Look at the curvature of the walls and the ceiling. She's amazing. She's my best friend. We meditate together. Like, that is my dream. It's just like Harry Styles hyping me the fuck up about how I did his interiors.
That, hey,
It's so specific and it's probably not going to happen. But if I would know I made it in life, I just want to be on the cover of Architectural Digest. That's really all that I want.
that's so cool. And also that's an insane dream. I usually I don't dream that often just because I don't like have, I think, the best quality of sleep, but that's fantastic. Like, go you for having a dream that like is that specific. Like, pop off.
Oh, I mean, this is just
Yeah.
my interpreted dream from being awake. I haven't actually dreamt this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. No, no, no.
The
But no, honestly, like I feel like Architectural Digest, that is, I don't think that's like
It's
I don't think
not
that's like a reach.
impossible.
Yeah, it's something
It's
that you can
not.
definitely like happen. Yeah.
There's two people that I actually went to my undergrad. This one girl, her name's Lula LaFortune. I'm gonna give her a shout out. She doesn't even know who I am, but we had psychology class together,
Hmm.
and she's a furniture designer, and she's been featured in Architectural Digest for her whole like furniture collection that she's created, and it's just really cool because the main reason she's been featured is most furniture now is leaning towards like minimalism and clean lines, but hers is more of like what's it called, like an exaggerated maximalist type of look, and she's just really neat, so you should check her out. And then there's
Okay.
another girl that actually graduated with my sister, because my sister went to SCAD, and her name's Annie Lee Parker. She's also a furniture designer, and her work has been a lot of places, but both of them are furniture design. They've both been an Architectural Digest. I'm like, oh, I could do this.
Yeah, and
someday.
that's so cool that you actually like somewhat know them. Maybe not like the closest people to them,
Yeah.
but like you can definitely reach out and like I feel like they could tell you like just learning anything from these type of people that
Mm.
have done what you're trying to do. I feel like that's
Yeah.
one of the best ways to learn and to get there to the next level, you know?
Oh, for sure. It's just a lot easier as a furniture designer because you're gonna have to have like your own like niche, or what is it? Is it niche?
Yeah,
Like
niche, whatever. Yeah.
you have your own style and you can really put that forth. So it's a bit easier because it's a product, right? It's just like a
Yeah.
sofa, it's a lamp, it's like a little poof or some type of textile. Whereas an interior designer, it has to be an entire space.
Right.
Like, what makes you stand out
For like a
as a
product,
designer?
I feel like the best, and this is from like my non-architectural background and someone
Hmm.
who's like been looking at fashion for a bit but doesn't really know nor care that much about it. But
Yeah.
I feel like the best way to pop off as a new like designer is you create a product that's like eye-popping, right? And then you
Mm,
find the right celebrity who may like enjoy it, and you
right.
just continually send them like free fucking samples until like maybe one day they post on their story like, oh my god, I love this. And then afterwards like the rest is history, because it's just like how do you get your name from like not being known to being known? And I feel like
Yeah.
using celebrities and social media, that's like one of the best ways, not necessarily the easiest way, but one of the best ways to like really get that traction that you need, you know?
Yeah. That's also pretty, that's definitely a good thing to do with fashion. There's this one kid that I know from undergrad too. Well, all these kids are SCAD kids. Like SCAD kids tend to be pretty
Scad
successful.
breeding.
SCAD breeding. Um, his name was Angelo Numo, but he's a fashion designer. He's like moved out to California now. But Big Sean wore a pair of like his pants that he made in a
Oh
music
wow.
video and did like this whole like photo shoot with it. But he's like getting pretty big too, which is insane because we were like friends freshman year at
Yeah.
uni. I'm just like, okay, well, they can do it. I can do it.
No, for sure. And yeah, that's so cool how like especially something that you've actually like conceptualized an idea, put it down on paper, and then actually created like a viable product and then pushing it
Hmm.
out. Like when someone actually posts it and says like, "Oh, I love this," or like, "Oh, it looks so cool," or this is something that like you're really like it's really vibing with me. Anything like that, I feel like that's one of the biggest like compliments personally that you could possibly receive. It's like, oh, someone
Yeah.
actually like fucks with what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah. My other friend from, I'm just like hyping up all my friends. She's actually one of
You're
my,
shouting out everyone.
I'm shouting at everybody. My
Yeah.
really close friend, actually, I haven't spoken to her in months, but she's one of my closer friends. Her name's Ivy Edgar. She's been creating like these corsets and she just blew up on TikTok one day. Like I remember before we both left, like before COVID happened, we were talking about both wanting to get our masters in the UK, and I helped her apply to one of the like fashion schools because she wanted to study like women's fashion in
Hmm.
London. She got rejected. She was absolutely gutted about it. But then like a few months went by, like we kept in contact. She decided to post like her process on how she made this corset out of like old sweatshirts and old t-shirts. So she upcycles these products and then she sells them, and it just blew up. Like one video just blew up, and she's received like packages from Reebok to get them to, or to get her to upcycle those sweatshirts. And she's had like a pop-up shop in New York. She's had celebrities and like famous TikTokers wear her corsets and promote it, and now she's just like running her own business, and it's awesome.
Isn't that
So
insane?
it's insane. I have two of her
Yeah.
products, and every time I wear it, I get so many compliments. So,
That's crazy. I'm really glad you pointed out that like literally out of all platforms possible right now, TikTok is the easiest and the best way to pop
mm,
off. And like one thing, I feel like maybe a combination of her just having a great idea and great product and also
mhm.
timing as well. That like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
during that period of time, people were really into like DIY stuff, like how to make your own
Oof.
rugs and all that shit. And like just the fact that like she managed to post and like, like I don't know about you, but like for me, starting like a YouTube channel and posting content online
Mm,
that everyone will be able to see, that was a little bit scary at first, and it just feels uncomfortable. But being able to get past that point, like especially for your friend who did the corsets, I feel like that was one of the best moves that she could have done for herself.
Definitely. And that's what I was telling her. I was like, listen, like there's obviously a reason why you didn't get into grad school. It's like, look at you now. You've started your own business and she's literally killing it. Now she's moving into making pants.
Okay.
It's insane. I'm so proud of her. I love
Yeah.
hyping up my friends or the people that I kind of know that aren't really my friends.
Hey, if she makes male pants and wants to send me a sample, I will rock those on the next podcast.
I mean, I might be able to get you a friend discount.
Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. No, that'll be super cool. And yeah, for all these friends that you're also plugging as well, if they ever want to, do an interview and, share the love, be more than happy to get them on here too.
I just think it's so funny because we come from like two completely different backgrounds. Like you wanted to do medical and you're into, what are you doing? I don't even know.
I'm in a tech startup right now.
Tech startup.
Yeah,
tech,
yeah.
medical and tech. And
Yeah.
I'm over here like I went to design school. I study interior design and architecture. Like there's basically no common ground when it comes to education. Our brains are routed completely differently.
100%. And that's why I love having these conversations, is because I get to learn more about things that I would never really ever learn about. And like coming from someone like you who I grew up with, like, and like seeing how you've grown, I think that's so cool to get like the beans and the inside scoop from you who's like been doing it,
The same to you. You and Alan and James.
Yeah.
Alan still thinks I just do art. Like he literally messaged me the other day. He's like, how's your art doing? I'm like, making macaroni noodles, sculptures.
Yeah,
that's my art.
Like just took out some chalk, drawing on the sidewalk,
Yep, got graded for that. Got graded for some chalk drawings.
Love that. We'll definitely get Alan on the podcast sometime, and I'll definitely let him know that
I shaded him a bit.
Yeah. I'll throw on the timestamp. Amy shades Alan here. But
sorry, Alan. Hope you're doing well.
But that's so cool. I know you've been super busy with not only navigating your master's degree, but also doing a lot of applications that I know how hard it is to apply. And it's honestly really just a numbers game. You really just need to get as many out there, and then the right fit will happen. It's just a matter of when.
Thank you.
But yeah, do you have any time for hobbies? Or like, what hobbies have you been up to? I know you have a ukulele.
I do have a ukulele. I did bring it with me. Yeah, hobbies. I actually, the thing about like this master's course is it isn't taking away as much time as I thought. So there was a lot of time I was just like twiddling my thumbs. I'm like, what am I doing with myself? Like, there's nothing to do. I could literally go out on a Wednesday night. I mean, no, my classes are. I could go out on like a Tuesday night if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I've recently picked up knitting again.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yes. So my hobbies would be knitting. I've been trying to sketch and like get out and do things. This is more so like mental health things. I've recently tried to get back into meditating because I used to do that a lot during COVID. Reading. I'm trying to read more again. It's just like, it was weird because during COVID, I felt like I had a really strong grasp on who I was because it was just like me and my parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's not much to do from where we're from. So I was just like constantly meditating all the time, like reading books that I wanted to read, being artistic when I wanted to be. And I'm like, all right, like I'm ready to start this new journey. I'm going to take what I've learned through this whole like COVID incident and bring it with me into like this new chapter of my life. But I just remember first semester rolled around and I just saw all the new hobbies that I picked up and like good habits that I picked up slip away. And I was just so disappointed in myself. But it's taken me now until it's June, I guess, to kind of reconnect with, I guess, like who I was then. So yeah, I've been trying to read more. I'm trying to make a patchwork knitted cardigan where I have like 40 squares, like 40 knitted squares that I have over there.
That's so cool.
I've never knitted a cardigan. The last time I knitted, I think I was like 11 or 12. So I just had to watch some quick YouTube videos and I picked it back up again, which is cool. And yeah, just drawing and knitting. I'm an old woman, like I told you.
I'm so glad that you decided to pick up those hobbies back up, because
Mm.
I also know how hard it is, especially moving to a new place. Like for me, moving from college over to Wisconsin in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest, um, it's challenging to, first of all, because like you want to be able to develop a sense of routine and you want to be comfortable with your surroundings.
Right.
And after you do that, then you can, start to branch out a little bit more. And the fact that you managed to do that in the UK, and how you're now, picking up hobbies that not only you enjoyed, but also were, good stress relievers as well. I think that's really cool and really good
Yeah.
that you did that.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a long journey, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it took me what, September till June. How many months is that?
That's like 6 +
10,
3. Yeah. Like 9,
9
10. Yeah.
months. Listen, I remember I had a conversation with one of my really good friends, and she's like a super like spiritual person, always really grounded. And I was just telling her, I was like, oh, I just felt like I've lost touch with who I was before I came here. And I've just like spiraled again. I've turned into this person I didn't want to be. And she's like, listen, you're being way too hard on yourself. Like,
Yeah.
life is all about the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs. Like, you're never going to be a stable line, and you need to not beat yourself up about it. I
If
mean,
you're a
in the
stable
end,
line,
you're dead.
yeah, exactly. Like, because no matter how much of a control you have in your own life, there
Mm.
are always factors outside your life that fuck shit up or makes things better. And that's stuff that you
Yeah.
can't control. So yeah, like I think what your friend just said about how it's never constant unless you're dead, like you said,
Yeah.
that's like a
You're
huge eye
flatline,
opener.
man.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So if you go through some changes, in the end, you'll come back around to it. It just takes some time.
For sure. In terms of meditation and just overall learning to be more tranquil,
Mm.
I guess that kicked off and that started during quarantine. Is that correct, or did you start doing it earlier?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. I was in a really bad place before COVID happened. If you knew me then, I mean, you did know me, but I feel like we weren't around each other all the time. You only saw like little glimpses and spurts
Yeah,
of who I was. I was a workhorse. I never really made time for myself. I was really judgmental. Um, just a really like toxic outlook on life, really. And it was super bitter. Like that was just me through my undergrad. And it's also just like kind of who the industry grooms you to be, and such a competitive field. Like interior design is super competitive because everyone's just trying to be different in their own way, but it's hard to be different when design's kind of headed in one direction.
yeah,
Um so then when I went home, I was just like, I've graduated in June, and from July until December, I think I just had like a full on like spiral, because like everyone was in the same boat. We didn't know what was going to happen. And I was like,
mhm.
oh my God, like, what am I doing with my life? Am I supposed to be starting my master's? Am I supposed to be applying for jobs? Obviously, things right now in the economy are pretty stagnant. So I can't really be doing anything. I just really beat myself up over it. Had no general direction of what I wanted to do with my life. Like, and for me, I'm like a type A personality. I have to have a plan. I have to have a plan A to plan J at least to feel okay with myself. So
Yeah.
when the earth stopped, you're just like, what the fuck am I supposed to
I'm
do?
similar to that, so I completely relate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm most of the people are, especially our age, being in that like 2020 graduate, we're in the same boat. Um, but then I remember, I don't, I, one of my friend's dads, like the February before COVID started, I went to go see a concert with my friends, and we stayed at his parents' house. And I spoke to his parents for a bit, and his dad gave me this book called The Source. And he's like, I wish I read this book in my 20s. I really think you're going to like it. And I was like, okay, like I haven't read books in forever, but I guess this could be a cool stepping stone. This book was about more of like self-belief and manifestations and like vision boards and ways to kind of prep yourself for a better future, I guess. That's less like industry based and more of like you need to look within yourself to figure out what you want to do. And I was like, all right, that's an interesting book. It was also very scientific, so it broke it down in a way of how your brain looks at things and deals with things neurologically
Mm-hmm.
with manifestations. And she kind of talked about meditations, but not fully. So I had like a glimpse of what meditation was and like how to be mindful. And then I don't even remember how it's introduced, but I think I was just scrolling on YouTube and I found Jay Shetty. And some people think he's like the cheesiest person in the world, but I think he's actually changed my life and made me to who I am today. He is London based. He was like studying to be in like business, and at the age of 18, instead of like going on to college and uni, because like college and uni is like a weird mix up here,
Mm-hmm.
he decided to go to an ashram and be a monk for like I think 2 years.
Wow.
um so his book is really good. It's called Think Like a Monk, and he kind of just like runs you through his life story and how to quote live your life with purpose. But it's just mainly practicing like gratitude and taking time for yourself and how to be kind and patient. But that's kind of what got me into meditation. And after I started like meditating every single morning and like taking his ideas into daily life is when I saw a huge difference of just your outlook on everything.
I'm
Have you ever
glad.
meditated before?
That's a great question. There have been like 2 or 3 moments in my life where I've actually sat down and just like didn't do anything. And honestly,
Mm,
during the first time I did it, I think that was a very like, it was an uncomfortable feeling because sometimes it's very difficult to separate the racing thoughts you have in your head. But when you
definitely, yeah.
actually spend the time to do it, like I
Mm,
did it for like 20 minutes, I think, but it felt like hours. And during those
really?
20 minutes, it's just like when I finally got through all my thoughts and just like thought about everything I could, it was just like peace, you know?
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
what I'm
and that's
talking
where you want to
about.
be, I feel like, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like, how did you meditate? Like eyes closed? Did you have music on? Were you just like sitting outside?
I was literally just eyes closed in a room in my room in college, I think. That's when I did it.
Mm.
And then I just had like this like $5 fan blowing air at me because like it was
That's me
hot.
right now. That's me
But
right
yeah,
now.
that was it. But outside of those like really one-off events, my meditation and my kicker is just going to the gym. Whenever I go to the
Yeah,
gym, like that is my mental signal
definitely.
to disconnect, and that's been
Mm.
helpful.
Yeah, I mean, like meditation doesn't have to be like sitting down and silently thinking about your thoughts or trying to clear your mind. It could be drawing. It can be any hobby that makes you happy. It can be like going on a walk, going to the
Mhm.
gym. But I've noticed for me, just like sitting down and trying to like clear my head is the best way for me to move forward with whatever issue that I'm going through or prepare myself for something.
I'm glad you found what works best for yourself because sometimes it's not easy to
Mm.
find, you know? You got to be
Oh no.
exploratory and experimental with that.
The gym used to be mine. I mean, I still go to the gym, but it's it's not as frequently as I used to, which is upsetting. But yeah, when I first moved here, to be able to get a gym membership, I had to open up a bank account. And it took me until November or December to get a bank account opened. And
Oh my
so
goodness.
so from September until like November, I couldn't go to the gym. And prior to that, I was working out like 4 to 5 times a week. So like just that instant stop. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh my God. Like I
It's
don't
yeah, yeah,
even
yeah. No,
it
I
was awful, man. Um,
to people who don't like
yeah.
work out consistently or like who don't like exercise every day, that is like a huge routine breaker and
Mm.
it kind of fucks with your mental a little bit. I feel
Oh
like,
my
yeah.
God. Yes. Like when I go like 3 to 4 days, I mean, like now I try, there's a gym across the way that I go to that's actually connected to like another accommodation. So I just like use my friend's card, go in the gym for free. And then the other gym is like a 10-minute train ride away, but I just haven't really gone to that one because the hours are a bit my gym
Yeah.
schedule's always too. um but I try to go out and go on runs or go on walks or like do something outside, so it's the physical activity. But I just, when I don't work out for like 3 or 4 days, my brain is so, it's like looking at some scribbles, and I get so antsy and angry and snap at people. It's not a good look for me when I haven't exercised or been outside for a little bit.
I feel you. I was a similar way, and really that's one of the one of the points for me where I realized I needed to really think about what I valued and what was most important in my life. Because like
Mhm.
there are periods of time in university and also in, during my first job where I just did not physically have enough time to do everything I wanted to do. Whether that was
Yeah.
spend time with friends, spend time with family, spend time with the girlfriend, spend time doing things that I enjoyed, like working out, spending time pursuing hobbies or like developing myself
Mhm.
personally. Had nothing to do with my career or anyone else, just things I wanted to try to do.
Yeah.
I was losing at least half of those. And that was a realization to me where it's like, nothing is really as important as doing things that actually make you happy. Of course, like you need to be sustainable off of that and you need to be able to have a decent, you know, you need to be able to like survive off it, but it's like there are always other options out there. And if you're doing
Yeah.
something that truly like is preventing you from growing, then it might be a
Get
time
out.
to think about, considering other options.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
I think
sure.
that's one thing that it's like pretty bad in America is the work culture. Like there's not a big divide between work life and home life. And that's like one of the other reasons that I'm not really wanting to come back and work there. The Europeans just do it different. I mean, the UK obviously Brexit, they're not part of Europe anymore, but
Hmm.
they're kind of in that category of taking it easy. And when 5 o'clock hits, leave your work at the door and move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're in a job that like physically sucks the life out of you, like you feel like you're back in undergrad or studying as a student, get
Yeah.
out. Not worth it. You need to
Yeah.
do something that makes you happy, that like gives you purpose and meaning. I mean,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. And things are definitely a lot better now. I think for both of us, I like to think, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's gotten better. It's gotten
Okay.
better. I
Yeah.
finally found time to make things for what I want to do, which is just watch YouTube, watch Netflix,
Yeah.
and knit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny you mentioned that because I feel like oftentimes when you don't have the time to really just sit down and just like watch the content you want to watch, it's like it's such a treat to yourself when you get to sit down and
I
just like for
know.
me, it's like I get to keep up with the 3 or 4 YouTubers that make content. I watch other
Mm,
videos and afterwards I'm like, wait, I don't need to watch YouTube anymore. Like I could backlog those quite a bit a little bit more, but it's so
yeah,
nice to like actually do it in the moment.
I know. Like, just take. I remember one of the worst things I was really bad at before I like got into like meditation and mindfulness is constantly having something in the background while also doing work. So I just be like making myself do something to feel productive, other than just like focusing my attention span on one show. Like I just
Yeah.
couldn't do it. Like whenever I watched Netflix, I felt guilty, and that's just part of like the unhealthy work culture that I mean, like just being a workhorse mentality that I had.
I think
I
that, and also
Yeah.
just like tech in general. I think with like social media and like
Mm,
how portable everything is, you can literally have your phone. Like you don't even need a computer. You can do almost everything off of your phone. And given that, it's like when you have your notifications on for like your different apps, when you see it, you're just like naturally inclined to like look at it. And
listen,
one of
I
those things,
can't.
yeah, you can't.
I can. I've turned my notifications off for Instagram. I
No
deleted
wonder you don't
Twitter.
like. No wonder you don't like any of my photos anymore.
I'm so sorry.
No,
Like
I'm just kidding.
I am
I'm
so
playing.
disconnected. Like I'm actually so disconnected. The only notifications I get on Instagram are my DMs, and I'm so bad at checking DMs. I deleted Twitter a while
Yeah.
back ago. I deleted TikTok. I don't have Facebook. I only have Snapchat and Instagram, and I only have Snapchat because I have like a 2,000-day streak with my brother. And I know if I lost that after like 5 years, that would be
Traumatic.
traumatic.
Yeah. Wait,
Exactly.
let me, just because you said the streak, I have a 2,100-day streak with my brother. So I completely
Right.
understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get it. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
mine
Yeah.
is like 2,020 days. So you guys have like an extra 80 days on us,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is wild though. Like I've traveled to so many different countries and somehow that was ew. That was
That was
such
a
like a
that was an
I'm
effort right
a
there.
I've traveled to so many different countries and I've kept my streak. That was such like a
Yeah.
you know what I mean. I didn't mean it
Yeah.
like that. I
Yeah.
sound
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a privileged
No,
bitch right
no,
now.
no. No, you're good. Um, and again, we're literally just, this is as unfiltered as it gets. We're literally just chatting about literally anything and everything. And I'm glad
Mm,
that you're just laying it all out and just like speaking what's top of mind. I think that's
of
really cool.
course. I mean, I've always been I'm gonna say what's on my mind type of person.
Yeah,
You know me, I give it to you straight.
for sure. And I do appreciate that a lot more now because there are a lot of people that don't give it to you straight.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Um, And speaking of social media, I'm really glad that you've managed to disconnect from all those places, because one thing that I've noticed is, especially right before like I go to sleep, a lot of times I'll be on my phone and then like one video will turn to a lot of videos, and then like
Yeah,
that just like, it's just like my brain is constantly,
going.
it's going, but it's just like, it's kind of in like a cruising numbing state where it's like I'm just taking in content. I'm not actually thinking about what I did during
Mm-hmm.
the day. I'm not like, I'm processing, but it's like I'm just looking at it. I'm not thinking critically about anything. And I feel like
Yeah.
when you do that before you sleep, the quality of sleep you get sometimes is kind of shit. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
it's so bad. Like
Mhm.
I had a really good practice at it. I've kind of stepped out of it. It's hard to do it as like a uni student. You have to be on your computer. You have to be like doing things, and like when you're not on your computer, you're usually just like watching a video or something.
Yeah.
Um, but the quality of sleep that you get if you just turn off or like disconnect yourself from your phone, disconnect yourself from any type of blue light, turn on some low lighting, read a book, draw, do anything that's like hands-on, like an hour before you go to bed, you will have the best sleep of your life. Like I promise you. Like I remember when I used to read like an hour or two before I went to bed, I would sleep so well. Like I'd have the deepest sleep, the most vivid dreams, and then wake up feeling refreshed. But I just feel exhausted if I watch like YouTube before I go to sleep, or if I'm on my phone or doing something silly.
Oh, that's exactly how I felt when I did that.
Mm,
It's almost like I
mm-hmm.
didn't sleep at all. And going off of what you said about drawing or just like reading a book, I feel like that all comes back to like your brain actually having to think and do the work. And like
Yeah.
when you do that, you can like, I think one of the things that's helped me with sleep is thinking about something I've done throughout the day, and then thinking about like what else I could have done, or like thinking about like, oh, like, and maybe like something else happens. It's like I
Mm.
went grocery shopping, something like completely boring and like not
Yeah.
not eventful at all. And it's like, oh, what if like at the grocery store like they had like this really dope fruit? And what happens if I tried it? And like I just like, it's like you just go
You
on
come
this
up
rant,
with alternate realities for yourself.
or it's like you just think about like things, you just think. Like just
Yeah, yeah.
thinking, like it helps you to like make dreams, because when you're not thinking for yourself, that's
Mm,
where like the dreams don't happen, I feel like. Because like why would
yeah.
you think when you're just like looking at like, I don't know, for my case, like this fitness influencer who's like eating 5,000 calories before sleeping,
Oh,
like why am I
yeah.
tormenting myself with that and not eating, stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I've never thought about like thinking of my day and alternate routes I could have taken. I think that would trip me out a little bit. That'd give me anxiety before I went to bed, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or not necessarily thinking about other things. It's just like thinking about what you did throughout the day. And it's like, oh, cool, I did that. I really appreciated doing this. I really
Yeah,
appreciate doing that. And just like,
that's a
I
good
guess being
practice.
mindfulness. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely think it like, yeah, practice gratitude throughout the day and at the end of the day. I mean, I need to practice what I preach, but it's definitely a good way to end your day.
One of the hardest things is just to vocalize it and to say it. And I feel like you've already been doing that. So yeah, yeah, I feel like you're like 95% of the way there. It's then just like consistency, which is so hard.
Consistency. Yep.
Just like
All
with
the
this
time.
podcast. No,
You
but
got this. You got
this is so fun. I love like just being able to catch up with all of y'all and like being able to see like what y'all are thinking about. And I
Hmm.
think this is definitely like one of the highlights of my day. It's like being able to just talk with like friends that, I was very close with, and I just definitely want to keep those, connections with. So
Yeah, I'm so bad at reaching out. I feel so bad.
it's not you. I also feel like this is not only like an opportunity for that'll benefit us too, because obviously we
Mm.
want to reconnect and be close, but it's also like beneficial to anyone else who might be struggling and like might need more work-life balance, might need help with meditating, might need help
Yeah.
with just like how to apply to architecture school, like not knowing what the next step for them is. I feel like all of that's super helpful from what we just talked about in like
Hmm.
less than an hour,
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
I like to
Don't
think
don't
so.
don't get me wrong though. I'm not some like perfect person. The amount of anxiety and depression I've dealt with the past like few months has been insane.
Yeah.
But I'm working through it, trying to get a therapist. We'll see what happens.
I feel like therapy is like the word itself is one of those like taboo words where
I know
when
it's so
someone's
annoying.
when you say it, someone thinks like something's wrong, but a lot of times like
Mm,
it's just like you just need someone, you just want a second opinion about something, or you just want someone to
definitely.
like talk to you about something so that you're not the only one. And I feel like that's like it should be more normalized, especially in our day and age.
Exactly. I mean, for a while, I just like, oh, I don't need a therapist because I can like you practice meditation and X, Y, and Z. But like some things are just a bit too big for me to handle on my own. And that just comes down to, I mean, I'm not trying to like blame my parents for the way that I was raised, but like, of course, everyone has childhood trauma and you do certain things because of the way that maybe something was said to you or the way that you were treated in XYZ thing. And maybe your needs were met in certain ways. So like that's some things I'd like to talk about with some like in therapy. Sorry, I just got really jumbled. Um, and then also what has been really difficult is my granddad passed away in November, and like being so far away and not being able to like grieve with your family, not being able to have like that closure with like a funeral was just, and it was so difficult. And that's
Yeah.
like, it's just stuff like that. Like I can't work through that on my own. I need some help.
Yeah, for sure. And being by yourself there, that must have been especially challenging because you
Mm.
were really close with him, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was a big part of my childhood for sure. And
Gotcha.
but I have a really good support system here. I've had some flatmates that have gone through it in many different ways, and each one of them has tidbit that I've learned. We range from all of these different ages. Like the youngest flatmate I have is 19, and then the oldest is 25. So everyone's skilled in different aspects. So I'm just like, I'm having a problem with this. I need to go to this person.
Yeah. No, that's one thing I'm glad you brought up as well. It's that literally like no one in the world can know everything, but
Mm,
having like a close group of people that number one you have as your support system is number one, like really important, because like
yeah.
going through life alone is very difficult. Life is already difficult by itself, but having to trek it by yourself
Oh
is
yeah.
hard enough. And the second thing is when you like one of the beauties of life is there's always someone that's going to know something more than you. And
Mm,
it's if you're able to connect with them, if they're able to, you're able to help them and they're able to help you, that just makes like life so much more beautiful.
definitely. I mean, I remember one of the in undergrad, the main thing like hanging around like a bunch of stoners in undergrad was like, yo man, like what's the meaning of life? Blah 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 blah. Like
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. That was like actual conversation. But obviously it's just like we're put on this earth to tend to other people, to impact other people. We're not really on this earth to live for ourselves, I
Yeah.
believe.
These deep questions and topics definitely come up during those sessions.
Yes.
It's funny. Um, but Amy, thanks so much for just like being open with everything. I thought right now would be a good time to take a little break and we could dive into something called the halftime show.
Halftime
Are you
show.
familiar with this at all?
I actually got to the halftime show in one of your podcasts, but I'm not really familiar with
Are you
it.
serious? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh, Siri just spoke instead of me.
Hi, Siri.
Let's see. I literally said, "Are you serious? That's awesome." And Siri said, "Yes, I'm not allowed to be frivolous." That's so random. Like what?
I don't like that.
Yeah, that's
Apple's
kind of
listening to us.
very strange. Okay, so welcome to the halftime show, Amy. Basically what happens is there are 3 trivia questions that I'll throw at you. They can range in any topic. So to give you a little bit of context, for our last guest, the trivia questions were about like animals, they're about like food, and then the previous one before that was actually somewhat related to like design and architecture.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna use this trivia generator. I'm gonna find 3 questions, and if you
Okay.
get all 3 questions correct, then I have to dance for 10 seconds on the
Okay.
podcast. But if you do not get all 3 questions correct, then you have to do a dance for 10 seconds on the podcast.
No, I don't even have on real pants right now.
Okay, no.
Don't make me stand up.
I'm dead. All right. Would you prefer to sing for 10 seconds?
I guess so.
Okay.
I mean, I'm so bad at trivia. Sometimes I'm good, but most of the time I'm not.
This is all fun and games, and this will also be used as clickbait as well. So
Oh my God. Okay.
okay. Amy, are you ready?
No.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. Okay. Because you seem a little bit more concerned than other guests, I'll give you some topics that you can choose from, and then I'll go from there. Okay. So there's animal trivia, there is entertainment trivia, there's food and drink trivia, and then there is funny trivia. So I'll let you choose one of those topics. I haven't looked at any of the questions, so I have no idea.
Animal trivia?
Okay.
Okay.
Your first question: what color is the tongue of a giraffe?
Black.
Is that your final answer?
It's like a black purplish color. It's a really dark color, I think.
Black or purple?
A black purple.
I'll give you that. The answer was purple. Yeah. It's
okay.
I've never seen a giraffe's tongue, but I've heard like it's like colored like that kind of. I didn't know it was purple though.
An image literally played in my head from like Planet Earth documentary of like photographic
funny.
memory.
I wonder why. Okay, this is a separate thing, but I wonder why they're purple. Like what evolutionary like thing made it decide to be purple? Like why does it matter what your tongue color is?
Maybe there's just like a lot of nerve endings or like blood circulation in their tongue because they have to wrap their tongues around like leaves and branches.
So it gives it like more, like it makes it more like muscular, so they're able to like contract more and like grab shit.
Maybe.
That's a good one because
Maybe.
I like that.
Thanks.
Okay, question 1. You passed with flying colors.
Thank you.
Question number 2. What animal's stripes are on their skin as well as their fur?
How thick is the fur?
I don't know.
Listen,
I don't know.
We have zebras, right? And we have tigers. The thickness in fur is completely different. Can you give me a hint?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the thickness of the fur. It doesn't tell you at all. I just have the question, I have the answer, so I can't provide that for you.
Oh.
And even if I wanted to look it up, my Bluetooth keyboard is not attached, so I wouldn't be able to type it up.
I really want to say it's a zebra.
You look very what's the word? You look very
stressed.
Yeah, stressed.
Thank you. I am stressed.
Why are you stressed?
don't want to lose. I hate losing. I'm the most competitive person.
It's one of those. I'll give you that.
What do you mean it's one of them? Do I have to list more than one?
Oh, no. Sorry. Wait. Was that your final answer?
I think it's zebra. Zebra, final answer.
I'm sorry, Amy.
No!
It was the tiger.
Okay.
Everyone
Have I already
watching,
lost?
F in the chat. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So that concludes our segment of the trivia.
That's not fair, man. Give me like 2 out of 3.
Only because you asked. I'll give you a pass on that. So I'll give you 2 more. Okay.
Okay.
You're the first person to come back with that. Harley, actually, for episode 2, I gave him. I accidentally Googled extremely hard trivia questions. None of them I even knew about. I could barely read the question because the words were like, some of the words were not English. And he was like,
bless Harvey.
He was like, "Come on, man! Like, you give me let me get 3 out of 5 right." And I was like, "I'll give you that." But because we're doing animals here, Amy, I'll give you 3 out of 4. So
okay.
1 wrong, 1 right. We move on to question number 3.
Okay.
What is a baby goat called?
A kid.
How did you know that? I've never heard of that before.
Really?
Yeah.
I know way too much about animals.
All right. Well, yeah, we're rolling on then. Okay. 2 correct. So this is for all the, what did the kids say? For all the marbles in the jar.
Marbles in the jar.
Let me see. You watch way too much Animal Planet for me
I watch so many animal documentaries. I really do.
I want to pick something that's relatively more weird or obscure. Something that I think you might have to think about. Because some of these are really easy. It's like, how many legs does a turtle have? Come on, I'm not gonna give you that.
You can choose a different category if you want, since I have now 2 out of 3 answered.
Are you sure you want to do that? Because I'm willing to switch.
Not really.
All right, we'll stick with animals just to keep it consistent.
Okay.
Some of these are pretty funny. I didn't know these before.
Don't scare me like that.
No, just let me see. What is this?
I can tell that you're really trying to stump me right now. The amount of effort going into choosing this question.
Not necessarily stump, but I will say I just think a lot of these you will know, because if I know these, I don't really know much about animals. I feel like you will definitely know these. So I don't want to make you I want to give you a final question that you'll feel proud of answering, and not so one you gave me that. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, there's no fun in the game.
Do you want to switch the category to food?
Sure. Okay. I was right. Okay, food and trivia. Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's see.
I feel like you can hear me swallowing the mic, and that's not the type of ASMR that we're going for today.
No, I mean, I personally didn't hear it, but
okay, cool.
All right. Question for you, and I'll give you plus or minus 5. Okay. Actually, I'll give you plus or minus 10. Okay. How many varieties of avocados are there?
I can think of 2 off the top of my head.
I only thought of 1.
You have the avocados from Mexico, and then you have the avocados from I keep bumping this mic. Another one that's huge, they're this big.
Avocado, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're giant. I want to say 3.
But notice I said plus or minus 10. There are a lot. I'll give you a hint.
Plus or minus 10.
I'll give you a hint. There are a lot.
20.
Is that your final answer?
No.
I'll give you a minute. I'll give you some time to to think.
What do you mean by the plus or minus 10? So if I like say a number, you're gonna tell me plus or minus.
If you give me a number, I'll give you within plus or minus 10 of that number because it's like a difficult one to get.
27.
You can keep naming numbers, but until you say final answer, I will not comment.
36. Final answer.
36 final answer. How confident do you feel?
Not confident at all.
Why don't you feel confident?
Because I know nothing about avocados.
How do we get you to feeling confident?
I should have stuck with the animal category.
So yeah, unfortunately, Amy, you were off by a factor of 10. There are 500 avocados apparently.
Oh, I thought you said you were off by like 10. And I was like, oh, fuck. Okay.
No, if you're off by 10, I would have given it to you. That would've been
500 types of avocados.
Yes.
You gotta be kidding me.
Isn't that insane?
I've only had 2 types.
I've only had 1. And I'm like, I've been on this planet for a good number of years.
Where are they?
Let me see.
500 different types of avocado. You gotta be kidding. Jeez. That makes you want some guacamole.
I know. I love guac. I only recently started like even trying it in college, and I absolutely love guac now.
I have 2 avocados in the fridge right now, and I shouldn't put them in the fridge because they're just rock solid.
Oh yeah, you need to leave them out to ripen a bit.
I know. I'm afraid they're gonna ripen too quickly because yesterday was a really hot day, and I didn't want to just. It's fine.
Speaking of avocados, okay, so I have like there's a poster here that, and I'll throw it on the screen in the actual podcast, but there's a different variety of different avocados. It doesn't really tell you the origin. I think a good number are from like Mexico and like South American countries, but I mean that just makes sense because there's more like sun and stuff.
Yeah, tropical climate.
But fun fact for you before we wrap up the halftime show. A fun fact about avocados that I actually saw on my random YouTube deep dive is that avocados typically last around 5 days, I think. From like when you buy them off the shelf and they're already ripe to like when they get to your pantry and they start turning, that icky gray black color. And that's super challenging for a lot of producers because obviously they want to take avocados from the field and they want to have those almost ripe so that when they get to the market, they're perfectly good and you'll want to select them because they're too hard. Sometimes you won't get them because like, it's like, oh, I don't want to wait. I want it now.
Yeah.
So because of that, the avocado market is actually a really difficult industry because the turnover for produce is so high, right?
Makes sense.
So there's this food scientist who actually created a way to spray on this non like chemical formula that prevents avocados from oxidizing. So just like how on apples and stuff like that, a lot of times you can prevent oxidation, which causes like that nasty color you see because oxygen is bad for fruit in general. And they spray on the avocado, and apparently from like lab testing, I think they can prolong the life of avocado by like 3 times. So instead of 5 days, they can extend that to like 15 days. And there's allegedly no nutritional, no like side effects that are bad to humans. It's basically just putting on this chemical that prevents oxygen from infiltrating into the avocado. So that was pretty cool. I'm not sure if I know it was already approved by the FDA and I know it's been out in market for a while. I think a lot of our avocados probably have this treatment, to be honest.
Interesting.
But yeah, I just randomly saw that and yeah, we're talking about avocados, so why not
absorbed all of that information?
Yeah.
I think the worst avocado that I had or avocados plural that I had was in Hong Kong, just because like they were being imported in from so far away. Like the avocados in Hong Kong are literally rock hard and they would never ripen. Like weeks would go by.
Really?
And they would still be rock solid. And I'd have to like cut it up and like literally crunch on it. I just learned literally just learned not to use avocados. I'm like, there's a lot better food here. I don't need avocados anymore.
I guess that honestly that makes sense because it's so humid and like it's so warm that probably if they don't get that one, like they just won't survive the trip,
Probably not. No.
Yeah. That's rough, but I mean, hey, you're in Hong Kong. A lot of really good food there aside from
I
avocado.
miss Hong Kong so much.
I've never been, but I want to go at some point.
Definitely go. You'd love it.
But Amy, yeah, hate to switch gears, but I think you have a show for us now. So the way it works is, why don't you select? I'll let you choose any song of your choice. You can sing for 10 seconds, and if you want me to throw on background music on the actual podcast, I can do that. But yeah, any song of your choice for 10 seconds.
I don't know.
But if you don't have one in mind, I can pick for you.
I want you to pick for me because I don't want to choose a song. I mean, I could sing Harry
Okay.
Styles, but
Yeah, why don't you, let's see. Why don't you do, I don't even know, like, yeah, why don't you do Harry Styles As It Was for 10 seconds. So you can choose any chorus, any line, whatever.
can it just
whatever
be
it is.
like boop 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 beep boops?
What?
Can I be
Did I not make it to that part of the song? Yeah, I mean,
I don't know some of the words, so I'm
pull
just
up,
be like,
hey, you got technology. Pull up the lyrics. You're allowed to pull up the lyrics, and then you can just read off of that. I'm gonna mute myself now. Just let me know when you're ready.
I'm not ready. I don't really want to do this at all. I feel pressured, and no means no, Max.
All right, so
I'll do it though. It's fine.
you're good. You're a great sport. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, Amy.
Same as it was. As it was. No. I'm trying to even think the words. Da-da-da-da. Harry, you're no good alone. Something about what type of drugs are you on? You know it's not the same as it was. Okay, is that 10 seconds?
I'll take it. I'll take
Thank
what I
you.
can get. No, that
That's
was
all I'm
good.
gonna give you.
I like the chorus that you
I
I liked how I think it starts like it's like gravity's holding me back or something like that, right?
You should have sang.
No, I failed last time and I had to sing already, so you can refer back to Harley's clip on that. But I appreciate it. Thank you for doing that, Amy. That was I hope you had fun. Obviously it's a bit uncomfortable having to be put on
Trivia,
the spot.
yes. Singing, no.
But now that you've gotten past the most difficult part of the podcast, it's all easy cruising from here, okay?
Okay.
So let's dive into a little bit more.
I might do a quick. Is that better?
Yeah, I mean that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, it was really dark in my room, and this ring light in front of me was actually burning my retinas.
No, I feel that. I only have one lamp in my room and I'm just like staring at a fluorescent light bulb, which is not good. So my optometrist, please don't watch this. And yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so these last couple of questions I have for you are more so about like who Amy is and more so about like what you find important. So if you're comfortable with that, then we could dive into those right now.
Okay.
So my
Let's
first
go.
question to you is, what drives you and what gets you up in the morning and what motivates you? So like, yeah, like I understand like you have a passion for creating and it sounds like for the most part, like you're doing things that you enjoy. And that's what I really admire, like being able to find the time and finding a career for things that you actually enjoy. Like that's a fulfilled life right there. But outside of that, or like maybe I guess we can peel a layer off and get just one layer closer to who you are. Like what ultimately makes you do all this stuff? Because like you said, like going to the UK and doing all that stuff, like that's not easy. Not everyone can do it. So why do you do it? What motivates you to do it?
Oh, I feel like this stems from like way back. I had a conversation with my boyfriend about it. Like in our town, how everyone's like known for something, and you're like, you carry that name or that aura with you for most of your life, I guess. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah,
small town mentality.
yeah,
Like,
or in the sense it's like because you've grown up there, and if you do choose to stay there, like you're constantly known by the same people, so they have a certain
Yeah.
perception of you. Yeah.
Yeah. So that whole idea of perception, um, I don't know really. Like there's a bit of like perception that comes in where I always wanted to get out of town because I don't know, there's just bigger and better things out there, right? So went
You
to
want to
SCAD,
explore.
went to a school that's 8 hours away, did something in interiors that I really enjoyed, um, and then finished job. I mean, most people in our town thought that my career choice was a joke. uh, and I was just like, okay, cool, whatever. This is still what I want to do. But yeah, I guess like the whole aspect of wanting to leave is I want to be able to build like a future for myself and kind of create my own pathway without connections. And I guess that's more of, I don't know if that's like ego getting in the way or not, but like even when I came here, no one knows what SCAD is at all. And like SCAD is one of the biggest design schools in the States. And you say, oh, I went there. Someone's gonna be like, oh, wow, that's like a prestigious design school, blah, blah, blah. But I come here,
Yeah.
no one knows. No one knows at all. So I'm just like, I'm literally like digging
You're
my
starting from
own
ground
path.
zero. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. There's something humbling about it. Because again, you just don't have that perception. People don't have that is it a preconceived
Notion or something
image?
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
preconceived image of who you are. um but I guess the other thing that motivates me is not to be like your generic Asian daughter, but to make my parents proud, and
Yeah.
I
I think
don't want to
family is a huge
disappoint
part of
them.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So it's just, I know that they worked hard to help me get to the place where I want to be. So I need to work hard to be able to fulfill what they imagined me to be, I guess. That's
Or
a
even
really bad motive. Is that a bad motivator?
none. I
Okay.
think I think another way of looking at it as well, and maybe this is what you were trying to say as well, is it's not necessarily doing what they want you to do, but it's more so they worked so hard to give you the opportunity that you have. So
Yeah.
you want to be able to like push that and like to like do as much as you can from that opportunity
Mm.
and do it in your own way, I think that's ultimately.
Yeah. I think it's just to like make them proud, but it's also important to remember that you don't need anyone else to validate your success. You need to be able to find validation within yourself. Yeah, no, for sure. I know both my parents just want me to do something that I'm going to be happy doing. So they were just like, well, what do you want to do that's going to make you happy? Well, as long as you work hard and do it and you put forth the effort, you should be able to become successful. I'm like, cool,
Yeah, cool. All right.
doing it.
It's like, all right, time to Reddit, Google. Ooh, let's get the ball
Challenge
rolling.
accepted.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Okay, going back to the podcast. What are you most proud of so far? You've overcome a lot of different hurdles, whether it's, being able to escape a smaller town and be able to go to a school that's so far away, or even being able to pursue your master's in a foreign country. Obviously, those are accolades that you'll carry for the rest of
Mm.
your life. But ultimately, what are you most proud of?
I think just like making the move. Before I came here, I had literally just like thought about just not coming. I was thinking of doing like an alternative route just because I was so comfortable being at home and like being close to my family. I remember calling up one of my friends and I was like, listen, I don't know if I should do this UK thing. Like there's like this war happening, and I just really think like the plane ride's going to be X, Y, and Z. It's just like my anxiety talking. And she literally looked at me on FaceTime. She's like, are you kidding me right now? I was like, what? And she's like, why are you even questioning this? Just get on the plane and go. It's fine. I was
Yeah.
just like, that's all I needed. And then I just took that step and went. So I came here knowing no one. So the fact that I've already built connections just through that, like, and made really good friends here and built my own community, I'm definitely proud of that.
I'm proud of you for making the move. And I'm also really happy that you had friends who supported you with doing that. Because
Thank
like
you. Me too.
because ultimately like that's a huge part of like I feel like that support system is ultimately really important in
Hmm.
guiding you in the right direction. Because sometimes you're gonna run into those moments where it's like a fork in the road and you don't know which side to choose. So the fact that they pushed you in that direction or just told you like just pack up your stuff, don't even think about it and just go.
She literally was like,
That's
quit being a
awesome.
bitch and come over here. And I was like,
Yeah.
fair. Okay, good. Like my parents weren't really giving me a definitive answer because I'd ask, I was like, what do you think I should do? They're just like, well, I don't know. This is kind of your decision. Like,
Yeah, it's
if you
your
stay,
journey.
great. If you want to go, go. And I was like, I did call my friend Liz, who's in Europe right now, and get her to tell me what to do because I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I'm proud you also made the move. And looking back years later, I'm sure you'll look back at your journey and you'll
Hmm.
realize that, oh, like I wouldn't be in X position or have this opportunity if I didn't do this. So
Definitely. Like I already know now, it's like if I didn't take that step, I would have regretted it 100%. Like, yeah, coming here hasn't been all what I anticipated to be. I don't enjoy my course as much as I thought I was going to, but I know if I didn't do it, it would have just been a complete what if that would have just irked me the rest of my life.
yeah, those what
So,
ifs need to be more so just do it,
right.
less what
Nike, just
ifs
do
and
it.
more just do it. Yeah, and honestly, we're not so
Yeah.
sponsored by Nike. I mean,
Not
we
at
can
all.
be, but I'm not giving any shout outs to any brands. Um, besides Blue Yeti mic, wow, the quality is so good.
I
Not
can't shout
sponsored
out any
either.
brands right now. No
Um,
brands to shout out at the moment.
but thanks for sharing that, Amy. On the flip side,
Hmm.
what would you say is your biggest regret so far?
My biggest regret. I feel like anything that I've made that could have been a regretful situation has been blacked out because of the trauma. But I've also just learned that every bad mistake or every mistake that I've made has somehow, there's some light to come to it in the end. So no regrets, really.
I
No regrets.
I like that. The fact that I feel like there are always regrets in life, but just knowing and having that, I feel like meditation and also like mindfulness plays a
Hmm.
huge role in making you say that. Wouldn't you say?
I think so, yeah. Because literally any bad situation that I've been in, there's always a lesson to be learned from it. So you're like, oh, that was a really shitty thing that I just went through, and that took a part of my life away from me. But if I didn't do it, then I wouldn't have the knowledge now to move forward with something else.
That was very eloquently said. And I
Thank
really do
you.
hope that you don't have any regrets. So that's nice.
Really trying.
Yeah, no, that's good. And then the last set of questions that I have are, what is your goal in the next year?
My goal in the next year. God, I feel like I'm being interviewed for like a job right now.
So some of these questions
Um,
are kind of like that, but I feel like they really make you think about, what you want to do.
yeah.
Kind of
In
pushes
the
the
next,
boundary.
I think in the next year, I would like to be potentially living and working in the UK, like hopefully crossing my fingers. And just having like that sense of relief that I've done it, because I feel like what I'm working towards now is what I've been working towards for a really long time. And I'm just ready to just like sit down in my flat and just be like, oh, I've made it. I've got the
Yeah.
job. I'm relaxing now. I can just start my 9 to 5. I know it's not going to be that simple. Like adult life isn't as beautiful as we expect it to be coming from someone who's still studying. Um, but yeah, I'm just ready to not feel that stress of I have to find a job and just be there and relish it.
I know that moment will come for you very soon. And once that happens, I'm gonna be so excited for you because
Thank you.
because I know you've been working for that for a while. And also it's just like it's so validating to know that all the steps you took that may not have been as conventional, they're finally
Hmm.
paying off and you're crafting your own story. So and not to say like right, like the job itself is the validation point, because
Hmm.
you just going through this is the validation point. The job is just another ice on the cake to show like, hey, this is just proof that what I'm doing is like working and what I'm doing is like good. Not that like
Right.
you need that, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you. That was really
Yeah.
nice.
And then
I think I needed to hear that. Self-validation is important because a lot of people lose sight of that. It's really hard to find sometimes, but also just letting your foot off the gas and just being like, okay, you need to relax a little bit. You're doing fine. You're gonna get to your end goal. Give it time, you
yeah,
know. But easier said than done.
100%. 100%. I know this is so challenging, but looking at the goal in the next 5 years, where do you see yourself?
The next 5 years. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's really actually okay. So when I do my meditations, I have this one area. I start with gratitude and then I go into visualizations and I ask myself these same questions where I'm like, okay, where am I going to be in a month? Where am I going to be in a year? Where am I going to be in 5 years? But the most important thing to those questions is I think it's important to more so focus on what you want to feel rather than actually picturing yourself in a specific location doing specific thing, because I feel like that kind of sets you up for failure to like have those expectations. But I want to say in 5 years I just want to be happy. I just want to be coasting. I want to be comfortable. I want to feel healthy. I'm gonna be 30. Ew.
Same, yeah.
But I hope I'm 30 and flirty and thriving.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I think I just want to be happy and comfortable and just be proud of myself.
I think you said that I think the way you put that into perspective about less so like accomplishments, accolades, or materialistic things, and more so about the feeling, I think that's a very interesting take that I've never considered. I think
Definitely.
but I think like when you narrow it down to like having X, Y, or Z items or like things, you may feel disappointed in yourself for not reaching that, where
Definitely.
it's like that wasn't really the end goal in mind, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Because I remember before I came here, like I said, I was meditating a lot and I was focusing a lot on like how I'd be feeling in September, October when my course first started. And I just remember focusing on like the feeling of excitement and just being really happy that I've done what I've been wanting to do. And when I got here, that's exactly how I felt. I was so happy to be in a new country. I was so excited to meet new people, so excited for my course. I love all of my flatmates. So it's like I actually felt what I like envisioned myself feeling. So it's nice.
Well, as if 30 wasn't far out enough, what about 10 years?
10 years.
35.
35. At this point of my life, at 35, to put it in perspective, my sister's 33, but she's absolutely killing it. She's a little girl boss over there, and my brother's 32. So kind of like being in their realm, I don't think it'd be too much to ask to kind of be a bit farther up within a company, maybe potentially having my own firm, doing my own thing, or working closely along with one of my friends or colleagues in our own company or something like that. Like, I think I just would want to have something more established working wise and have that confidence as a designer to be like, my work is good. My work is worth it, you know?
Having that
Hopefully
YouTube
making
video, having that YouTube
YouTube
video
Harry
of Harry
Styles opening the
Styles.
door.
Yeah.
Hi, Architectural Digest. Welcome to my home, designed by Amy Yu. Oh my God. Like,
I'm totally using that clip that you just said as part of the intro. Oh
do
God,
it. I
it's gonna be
mean,
hilarious.
oh my, if once that happens, I'll be ready to die. I do not want anything else in life other than that.
I think when you get to that level, you'll be like, you won't view Harry Styles as so much of an icon. You'll be like, yes, I made your living room or whatever room you have. I made it that way. And because of that, him and his family and like everyone else will enjoy it. And I think
Oh, yeah.
I think you'll have a completely different mindset.
I want to be invited to his family dinners.
Yeah. I want to be
Christmas
invited
dinner.
on. I want to be invited on set for his next Marvel movie.
He's in Marvel. I forgot about that.
Did I spoil
That's
that?
exciting.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I kind of knew, but I forgot. It's
Okay.
something that I like stored back in my brain
Yeah.
archives.
For sure. But Amy, last question for you. And really, before we even dive into the question, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast. Really appreciate picking your brain and just seeing how much you've grown and changed since we last talked. Really, for any of the other viewers who've stuck around this long, I like to have this last segment for any advice, any motivational quotes or last things, anything else that you want to say. Right now is your floor. I'm going to mute my mic.
Okay. Inspirational quotes. I think one quote that's really helped me through is, and I got it from my Jay Shetty book. Sorry, proud sponsor of Jay Shetty. It was at your own pace and your own time. At least I think it was from that book. It may have been from another one. But basically that's just saying you can't compare your journey to anyone else's. Everyone's doing their own thing at their own time and the way that they want to do it. And we're doing the same thing. So even though so-and-so might be at this point of their life, maybe they're married, maybe they have a kid, maybe they have a good job, and you're not there yet, it doesn't matter, because at your own pace and your own time. I think that's my only advice, really. Try to be kind. The world needs more kindness. Try to be patient with yourself, be patient with others. And I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned in the past 10 months is, like, in any type of relationship or friendship, communication is key, and always see the other person's perspective before passing any types of judgments or saying anything that could be triggering to them. It's important.
I really appreciate you sharing those comments and your quote. I think that was really nice, and also I personally learned a lot just from hearing those as well. So,
thank you, Max. Thank you for having me on your show. It was a pleasure to be here. You spent a lot of time with me today.
I'm gonna spend a lot more time editing.
Oh,
It'll be fun.
man.
It'll be fun. No, I'm having a blast doing this, and yeah, this is also a plug for myself. We are on Spotify, if you guys didn't know. Yeah, so you can catch all the episodes on there. And thank you so much for being on the show, Amy.
Thank you for having me. Grateful to be here.
See y'all on the next podcast.
Bye. We fucking did it, man. Bye, bitch.